What up? What up? You're back with another episode of 420 Boys. This week we're gonna roll it, blaze it, and clown around in a ball pit with 2007's Drive Thru. Scott's wondering how long before his town's collective arteries clog up. Adam's whizzing in a clown's face because he couldn't find the shitter. And I'm in the haunted house getting my dick wet from pissing my pants. Don't try to run. Don't try to hide. Just kick ass back and relax with the 420 Boys vibe on horror movie night.
You don't actually need to podcast because that was the best thing that's going to happen all week. Holy shit. I think that you were made to just pretend to be some fucking idiot like that. That's great.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, your burnout impression is spot on. It's really good.
He listened to a lot of new metal this week.
Oh, shit, son.
Well, if he watched this movie, he was forced to listen to a lot of shitty new metal.
I am so bothered by this film. Like, I don't think I've been bothered by a film this much that we've been forced to watch in a while. Like, I saw the cover and I hated it. I just thought, you know, I'm gonna hate this movie, and I wasn't wrong. This movie came out in 2009 apparently, but it looks like 1999.
Yeah.
Like it could be my junior year of high school.
All right, so here's real quick. We'll jump. I don't actually know the name of the person who requested this because they never signed their name. It's always been their email address, so I'm going to refer to them as Ravens fan.
Oh shit! There's no 420 or Blaze It or
nothing.
Marijuana or
This person not only emailed us but also recommended this movie in one of their reviews on iTunes. So they doubled down on wanting us to talk about this movie. But here's the email.
You know, it's the fucking director. It's the director.
Here's the email that they sent us. Hey guys, first things first, I love the podcast. I can always count on you for at least 30 minutes of pure entertainment, even if the movie sucks. And then in parentheses, primal. I have a suggestion that might satisfy two of the three of you, because there's no pleasing Adam. I would love for you to check out Drive Thru. It's a fast food killer. It's a killer fast food mascot, two of the stars of Gossip Girl, and a death by a deep fryer. Sadly, no ghost sex. Hopefully you'll give this movie a watch, and I'll hear all about it on an upcoming episode. Thanks again. P.S. Scott, thank you for all the stickers that you sent with the t-shirt and CDs. I proudly display my love of Survivor Girl.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll find this person's name. That's a dude. Sorry for shitting all over your pick. Thank you for buying a Survivor Girl CD and shirt.
Well, listen, don't be too soft on them, because they're like, every week you give me at least 30 minutes of good material, but our podcasts are always like 45, 50 minutes long. So obviously, 20 minutes of what we're doing, they're not a fan.
Okay, this guy's name is Martin.
Okay, thank you, Martin. So, I own this movie. I actually like this movie. I am the...
Wait. Pause.
Yeah.
Did you own this movie before it was picked?
Oh, I've owned this movie since it was released in 2007. I found this movie on demand when I was living in an apartment with my friend, and we watched it and fucking loved it. And I went out and bought it, and I've watched it many times. This was like my 6th or 7th viewing of Drive Thru.
Hey, Matt, you want to know how many times I've watched this movie?
Like half a time, because you probably
I didn't finish.
I know you so well. All right, so let's break down this movie to the best of our abilities, because this, holy shit! As soon as they sent the request, I'm like, this movie, yes. And I know it's a terrible movie, but I know that we can get a good episode out of it, so we're going to. Let's start. So the movie begins immediately with a group of, I hate using this word, but it's the only way to describe them, and they say it a ton of times, wiggers. Driving around, and they pull up to a fast food intercom, and there's this really terribly written sequence back and forth where it's like, you want to die, bitch? Would you say, do you want fries with it? And it's like, what the fuck is this? And that scene goes on for way too long. But that's when the one guy's like, you know what? I'm sick of this guy. I'm going to go in and I'm going to cap his ass because he's a white dude who likes rap music, so of course he's got a gun. He goes into the fast food place, and then he's just MIA. So the other guy's like, I got to go find out what happened to my buddy. And that's when we have the deep fryer death scene, which is so gross because he pulls him out of the deep fryer and then his face just slides right off.
Yeah, it's much like Dolls in that it blows its load real early with this effect, because this effect is fucking awesome. It's really good, but I don't know what else do we have to cling to for the rest of this movie.
Well, I've got plenty of notes here, but yeah, so there's
shit, Matt.
Yeah, so that thing these two guys die, and then we jump to a party, which is one of the worst, and I think Scott will back me up on this, the worst airbanding you have ever seen.
I have a note about that, yes. I said, okay, so we missed a couple things here. Are we? Do you want to go through the chronology of this piece of shit up until I turned it off? Or do you want me to wait until you're done with the synopsis?
No. Interrupt me until we get to where you don't know what's going on anymore because you shut it off.
Yeah. Okay. So I actually said these wiggers at the beginning are the worst. No, I take it back. The girls are. That's the worst acting I've seen in a long time. This makes Demon Wind look like Oscar material. And then I was like, maybe I can fight my way through this movie because I'm not feeling it. This is going to be bad. I know it. And then I was like, oh, the white guy dropped the N-word. I'm not going to like this. But then I'm watching them like, yo, I got a piece. I'm going to put a cap in your ass or whatever. And I'm like, am I watching a prequel to the FP?
Yep.
Like a not funny prequel to the FP. And then the questions start. Like, why is this franchise called Helleburger? Why is there a clown mascot for Helleburger? Why is it okay in the small town to have a possible franchise or at least a one-off restaurant with a swear word in its title? Why is the clown in ads where it's Godzilla? Like these questions are never answered as far as I know. And I interject. These actors probably want to strike this atrocity from their IMDb so badly. And the fucking credits font is 90s. Like, this could be Strangeland with the dude from Twisted Sister.
Yeah.
Dee Snider. I mean, this movie is so bad and so out of place that I'm hoping that you can shine some light on the fact that I was actually waiting for you to be like, yeah, this movie was shot in 2001, but it was in production hell for 6 years.
No, I think this was just a very... Well, I guess it can't be that low budget.
But it's stylistically supposed to look like the late 90s. Like, the music, all the girls are wearing Josie and the Pussycats fucking clothing. Like, it's all sequins, and it's mini skirts with these weird crop tops, and their hair is all slicked down like they're in a Christina Aguilera video. It's all intentional, and so it's very confusing to me.
Yeah, but yes, here's what I think, because I actually do believe that there might have been some holdover on this, because at the opening party that they go to, it says class of 05, right? But this movie didn't get released till 07.
But it says 2009 on Wikipedia.
Does it? Because I'm almost certain that it's 2007.
Yeah, I thought it was 2007 on IMDb.
Okay, well, I looked at Wikipedia because I needed some sort of like kernel of information to try and answer some of these goddamn questions. But okay, so at least if it was 2007, it was in production hell for 4 years, minimum 4 years. Say it was 2004 when they were in production and they were like, okay, it'll come out in 2005. I can kind of see this being just slightly dated. Like it was made in the Midwest in 2004. I sure as fuck didn't dress like that in college. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, and I went to college in the Midwest, so I don't... There's so many questions that are never going to be answered about this film. And, I mean, the CGI even looks 90s. It doesn't even hold up to the 13 Ghosts CGI that we watched a couple weeks ago during the Twitter takeover. I don't know. And then the sexy girl band... like, again, Josie and the Pussycats, at least they spent a good week teaching those three girls to pretend to play the music, to play an instrument. Like, Tara Reid looks like she might be hitting drums correctly. The girl playing drums here is so offbeat, it's insane. It's like she's living the lag that Skype makes us go through sometimes. Like,
this movie has one of those things where like it's got that Juno Jennifer's Body effect where I feel like the writer thinks that they're being way more wittier than they actually are.
You take that back. Jennifer's Body is hilarious.
Such as lines like "mind over mammary glands."
Wait. You're missing the point that even their catchphrases are stupid, but their exposition is worse.
Oh yeah.
They take out a Ouija board in the first 5 minutes, and the girl's like, "What does it do?" Come fuck on! Everybody knows what a Ouija board does.
Well, I knew that I was gonna hate these characters as soon as those two like popular kids were in the hot tub, and she comes over and she dumps the beer out on them and pretty much like calls them yuppies. And I was like, okay.
Why would it's their party? Why are they going to ruin their own hot tub with beer?
Yeah.
Everything is so dumb. I hate everything right now. I'm Adam.
I guess the yuppie kids like weren't invited, but there's like tops 10 people at this party. Like,
we need more extras to make it seem like a real high school party. It's like Matt threw this party and nobody showed up.
Hey, people come to my parties. So you already kind of got us there. Mackenzie, who's the lead singer and our main character, is smoking pot in the basement with her friends, and they start playing with a Ouija board. And then it just, they get the Ouija board freaks out and gives them a random combination of letters and numbers, which turn out to be the license plate to the car driven by the Wiggers. We jump back in there, and their two girlfriends get slaughtered as well. And then we are introduced to the wacky cops who come rolling in trying to solve the mystery. And there's a bunch of really stupid jokes there too, where they're like, the radio kept playing Highway to Hell, and he's like, oh yeah, Styx, great band, like fucking dumbass jokes like that. But I do have a note.
Before you get to your note about those cops, this is another thing that makes me think that this movie was made right after Idle Hands. Yeah. Because the fucking cop tropes are the exact same.
Oh, yeah.
And not funny. Like, way less funny than the cops in Idle Hands.
I have a note here that just says, can we please talk about that Hella Burger commercial?
Well, I already brought it up, so you can...
Yeah, let's dive in. The Hella Burger commercial might be my favorite part of the movie besides the deep fryer death because it's so absurd. It's like a 1960s commercial of just a dude in a shit-ass clown costume, and it's like a parody of a Godzilla commercial, but there's like no context to it. And the dad's like, oh man, I love this commercial. And then it's just a clown getting shot by the military, and then they're just like, try our baked bean burger, whatever the fuck it is. And it's like a quad-stacked burger, and then they just dump baked beans across it. It looks like the least appetizing thing you could ever imagine. And like, I feel like that's got to be part of the joke, is that like the fast food is purposely made to look so fucking gross, but everybody's all about it. But that joke fails. But that burger is hideous looking.
Yeah. Okay, this is the thing, is that they could absolutely have made a lot of good jokes if they would have added enough to make an implied punchline.
Yeah.
But it's like they just kind of were like, oh, they did the opposite of what most horror movies do. They didn't give you enough information instead of overfeeding you like that. Hey, do you get the joke, guys? Do you get how funny we're trying to be? No, it's the opposite where they're like, oh, they'll get it. They'll get it. Well, no, we don't get it.
Well, then I have another note here that says, I'm trying to decide if everybody is a bad actor or if they're just doing the best that they can with terrible dialogue.
I think that it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, really.
Yeah, it's definitely both, because some of this written dialogue is some of like the worst fucking garbage that it has ever graced the screen. like that scene where she loses her virginity. Like, oh my fucking god! I was so tempted to just shut it off, because what did we like up to this point? We've had like horny teens and bad acting and like a bullshit supernatural thing going on, and then a shitty clown killer. It's like, what is keeping me around to watch this? Like, why would
it's another one of those slasher films that's essentially a mixtape of scenes that worked better in other slasher films.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, so here is where, I'm sorry guys, I don't want to bring this up, but there are 2 fucking vegan jokes within about a minute. And I was like, vegan joke, ugh. And then I have in parentheses, don't say this out loud. And then I say, these are the worst clothes ever. And then I say, more vegan jokes, fuck. And then in parentheses, okay, you can say something now.
They had to go back to the well, and then that was one too many.
Well, no, it's like, okay, it's fast food. You can make a joke about silly vegans being retarded or something. And okay, it's also 10 years ago when this movie was supposed to come out. I can see it working. But then they go back within a minute, and they just recycle the joke. It's so dumb. Anyway, so then you get to the scene with the clown coming after the girl in the high school, like she's in her underpants or whatever. I think I might have fast forwarded a little bit, but there was nothing lost by.
No, that's about where my next note is.
It's just the microwave death.
Yeah, no. It's the chase scene before the microwave.
Yeah,
because they're on the phone like, oh my god,
girl,
blah, blah,
you
blah,
gotta
blah.
check out my ink. It is the tits.
Yes, thank you. Oh my god, Matt, you have watched this movie far too many times. So that girl is supposed to be the Rosario Dawson of the band, and I think that's the drummer actually, but she's Rosario Dawson plus the girl, the half black girl that's in The Craft, the token black girl in The Craft.
Yeah,
she even has the same hairdo. Like, all this is just homage after homage, but in the most sophomoric way possible. It's not even like, I think 3 weeks ago, we were talking about it's the wink, wink, nudge, nudge of horror movies. But this is like, the script is super flying under the radar. Hey, do you get our jokes? You probably only do if you know us personally. And then the other half is, oh my god, this scene is a straight homage. People are going to love it. Whoever wrote this should feel bad about their writing skills, because it's awful. But then the production company is equally culpable, because every scene with the clown looks ultra CGI'd, like they had a really janky clown mask that they had for this person. And the suit is abhorrent. It's got flames around the waist, and there's like the pinstriping, and it just is the worst thing ever. Seriously, I don't even think that Mushroom Head would look at that and think that that was a good costume back in 1999. They'd be like, whoa, dude, whoa, just can you take a couple of the colors out of there? It's too much.
Well,
anyway,
to be fair, in the early 2000s, there was a lot of people walking around with flames on their shirts. That was
those were people that weren't getting laid.
Oh, that
was the issue with the clown. That was his problem in this movie.
Well, okay, so I know that Lit was a pretty popular band in the late 90s, early 2000s, and A Place in the Sun was a really good record, but it doesn't mean that it's okay to have flaming dice on everything.
That's such an obscure reference.
It's not.
I forgot that he wore those.
Oh my god. That all it was martinis and flaming dice. All that, I mean, and Guy Fieri's hairdo. But really, Lit was a great band. Let's just agree there. Their first, A Place in the Sun and then Atomic were both really good records. Everything that came before it and everything that came after it is just unlistenable. Much like this film, aside from like the Friar death, which I still think isn't quite as good as the Friar death in a movie that this movie is pretty much ripping off word for word, Blood Diner. You need to have a blood buffet. buffet. No brain in a jar is behind the killings in this movie. But the problem is with that Friar death is that the guy doesn't get his head knocked off with a baseball bat.
That's true.
All right, so next note I have here, kind of taking us through this movie, is Mac decides to have sex so she doesn't die a virgin, and then they go to a carnival.
Well, wait.
Wait. You are totally steamrolling past way more shit that I need to say before I totally drop out. I know I have a lot to say about this first half, and then you guys can just take it, all right? So, you know how I mentioned Idle Hands? I forgot. There's one redeeming character in this movie. It's Lenny the janitor, and it's played by the short cop from Idle Hands.
Yep.
And then I immediately following that, no one was developing actual film in high school in 2009 or 2007. This movie is so fucking perplexing and in no way fun or entertaining. I actually wrote all that out because I had so much time to think about how much I hate this film. That microwave that Val, the girl that has the dark, I don't know if she actually is a half black girl or whatever, but she's the darker skinned girl that was being chased when she was on the phone, the one who was like, her tattoo is the tits or whatever. They somehow get her head into a microwave that can then be turned on so that her head explodes. Yep. Like, explain that to me.
The clown is a ghost and he can do whatever.
But
a wizard did it.
Okay. I mean, if this was Dream Warriors, I'd feel a lot better. So this whole metal plays when the killer attacks thing that happens in like every horror movie that has a metal soundtrack is just not working here because this is the worst metal music. I didn't mention Strangeland in my notes, but I mean, this is worse than Dee Snider's Strangeland soundtrack, which is really saying something because Strangeland was abhorrent. Like, I know I used that term already, but man, it's the perfect adjective for what everything in this film was. Like, I'm waving my hands around a lot as I'm talking right now. I'm so upset about this film. So here's my last one. Sorry, guys. I'm piecing at the 20-minute mark. This is unwatchable garbage, and I hate everything. Yeah, even when we get to what did we watch, I watched something that was so insanely bad on YouTube, but it wasn't as insanely bad as this movie. Because I didn't buy or rent this. I watched a shitty, like, 240 version of this on YouTube, and it still was just, like, the CGI looked better than the higher quality. Like, I saw a 720 version of just, like, the final kill, so I know what happens. God damn this movie. Okay, I'm tapped out. Martin, you got 23 minutes of just me ripping your pick apart. I know it's not a half an hour, so hopefully Adam and Matt can bring it home.
I really don't have a whole lot of notes for the rest of this movie.
Did you piece out early, too? Because
I didn't. I watched this thing the whole way through, but like we were supposed to record the other day, and I had like just watched it the night before. Since that 2-day break, I've lost most of what I cannot fucking remember what happened.
Good. But you know, the funny thing is that this movie is so much worse than Demon Wind, and like we're gonna have a full episode for this movie.
Well, Demon Wind the movie was only part of the problem on that episode.
Adam, what other thing could have possibly gotten in the way of us having a full episode that week?
I came down with a sudden 8-hour flu. Anyways, so I mean, I get to the next part and we're at the virginity scene, which I have a lot of issues with. Just one because it's so awkward.
Nudity?
No. I mean, Leighton Easter
in this movie.
No.
Anywhere in it? I don't think so, no.
Huh. Is there any child swearing?
No. It's really, it's missing all the marks to make a great movie.
Seriously.
I don't know. I don't know if you can consider 17 or 18 or whatever a child, but they're... So they're going to have the sex, and she says that shit about how...
Sex. Oh my God, Matt, did you just possess Adam for a minute? They're gonna get down to fucking. Sorry, that's
that's Matthews. Yeah, that's his go-to. Zip, time to get down to fucking. All right. So yeah, and then she says the thing about like, oh, if I'm gonna die, I don't want to die a virgin. And can you like imagine being in that situation? Like, do you remember the first time you had sex and how shitty it was? And then you were like, oh wow, this did not meet any of my expectations. This is awful. Why did I do this right before I died? Like. It almost seems pretty pointless. I mean, you gotta live it. What's that?
Just like this whole film.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, the mom like interrupts them halfway through, like getting ready for it. But.
Can we also talk about the fact that the mom is the same age as? She's just like the suspension of disbelief was ruined by that because I'm like. So I watched that final scene there where the mom is like, "No, take me, use me, you want," and And I'm like, how is that the mom? She's the same age.
Yeah, the ending of this movie, if we don't mind jumping ahead real fast.
No, because we got to talk about the 420 voice.
Oh, we'll get there. I'm just saying, the end of this movie has one of the shittiest CGI flames I've ever seen in my
God. That's the part that I did watch on YouTube, and oh, it's delightfully crappy. Jesus Christ.
That is the sign of the budget was completely depleted by the time they got around to the end of this movie.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to put this guy in a flame suit, but we're not actually going to light him on fire.
So there's this whole crazy thing happens at the carnival. 2 people get killed. The parents are friends with the girl's parents, and that starts to hint to like the huge Nightmare on Elm Street influence that's in this movie.
Oh my God, yeah.
And then her boyfriend doesn't get killed, but he ends up in the hospital, and she breaks him out of the hospital, and they're trying to figure out who the next victims are going to be, and they find a card that says 420 on it, so they think that that's like, hey, meet me somewhere at 420.
Nope.
And the guy's like, no, it's got to mean something else. And he calls a random person, and again, I'm about to use a word that I don't normally use, but for the sake of quoting the movie accurately, because it is one of the best delivered lines in the movie, he's calling his friend, and he's like, bro, I need to figure this out. 420, like, who would that be about? What do you think about when you hear the term 420?
Oh my God. My God.
And then he goes,
hey, audience, what do you think of?
But then he just goes, the 420 boys, those fags, I forgot all about them.
I wish I would have watched that part.
So it shows it's just a black stoner, a white stoner, and probably the most attractive girl in the movie, which is not saying a ton. No. Just hanging out outside of the fast food place. And the chick is getting hit on by Morgan Spurlock, who's playing the current employee at the restaurant, while the other 2 guys are playing in the children's ball pit and pissing into a clown mouth.
Yeah, he just randomly starts pissing all over this clown speaker thing that's in the play area. And his other friend's like, bro, you taking a piss? And he's like, yeah, I am. And they both just laugh it off. It's too funny. Ha ha. Like, there might be a reason why that guy called them a fag, like, fags earlier in the movie. They were certainly living up to being, like, really weird, like, fucked up guys. But,
Wait. Why in the flying fuck was Morgan Spurlock roped into Drive Thru?
Because he's the first person you think of when you think of fast foods. And they probably were like, we need one good cameo. Let's get Morgan Spurlock in this. And he actually doesn't do a terrible job. I mean, his scene is far from the worst scene in this movie. But yeah, so the 420 boys also... The thing is that they don't refer to any of these things as murders, which is the most amazing part. It's always referred to as a disappearance. There's fucking blood filling the back of a truck. And they're like, 14's disappeared today. Like,
yeah. Like, the ball pit balls are, like, floating in blood, and they're like, I don't know, they might still be alive. We can't rule this out. The killer might have brought some excess blood with him that he just disposed of at the scene.
So,
oh my God!
So finally, Horny the Clown, which is the name of the mascot of Hellaburger. Yeah. I can't believe we skipped over that.
I'm sorry, I forgot the fact that Horny the Clown is the official name of the official... Oh, God, this movie is so dumb and awful.
So
Wait. I do want to just say, if you look on the internet or under any YouTube video or IMDb reviews of this movie, there is a line that people love quoting, and it's when Horny kills the black stoner, and the black stoner's like, please don't hurt me, and Horny goes, oh, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to bash your fucking brains in till you're dead. Like, it's not a funny line or a remember. Like, it's nothing. It's a nothing line. And everyone that likes this movie really seems to like quoting that line. I don't know why.
You know, I'm having a bit of a feeling here that the people that like this movie might not be the sharpest tools in the shed. Sorry, Matt.
They might be the 420 boys.
They might be the 420 boys.
But
I thought we were the 420 boys.
Is that really our new name?
420 boys?
Am I the hot chick?
No.
Yes.
Also, that girl. That girl looks like the lead singer of Paramore, but just haggard beyond belief.
So that's 2 weeks in a row we get the wannabe Paramore, Haley Williams wannabe in the film. Which
yeah, the
is
one
real.
in TerraVision's way hotter. Don't worry.
Well, that's not saying a whole lot because, like, yeah, she's way hotter, but the girl in here, like, everybody in this movie is so busted looking. Everybody sucks. I hate this movie. I hate the people. I hate everything.
All right, so let's speed through this. So basically, we get the background story that the mom and all of the parents of the kids who have been murdered and/or are missing once picked on a kid named Artie, whose dad owned the Hella Burger franchise, and he used to play Horny the Clown in all the commercials, and he invited them all to his birthday party, and they didn't show up, and accidentally burnt the party down and killed him, and now his vengeful spirit is getting revenge on the children of the parents for what they did to him, and he's about to set Mackenzie on fire, and that's when the mom comes in and is like, "It's me that you want, leave her alone," and then she spits fire on him through a flask.
This movie!
And the movie ends with the promise that Horny the Clown will be back if someone ever financed a Drive Thru Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. But that's it. That's Drive Thru in a nutshell. It's not good, but I enjoy it.
You've watched a crap load.
A crap load. It's one of the perfect, like, weird-ass movie night movies. Like, I feel like the biggest issue is that both of you watch this by yourselves, but I feel like watching this movie with, like, a group of people and you're crushing a pizza and some of you are drinking.
I was about to say, I don't think that's what Adam would be crushing.
No. Vag.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, want to come over and watch some Drive Thru? Jesus Christ.
I got some new metal I'll play you. I got an album here.
I got some new metal I gotta play you. I gotta put this DVD in so you can hear it, because none of these bands have an album, I can pretty much guarantee.
So, Adam, is this how your day goes? You're walking down the street, you're by the drive-thru of this unknown franchise with a very strange, sexually explicit circus character as the mascot, spooky, dirty-talking mascot, and you see a fit, intelligent, attractive in the face woman, and you say, "Hey there, young thing, why don't you come back to my house? We'll watch a very classy movie with real classy music, and you'll be the prettiest girl in the room."
Yeah, and then 3 hours later, I'm having a cigarette. It's all sweaty. The interactive menu is playing the same 45-second loop of new metal music over and over again.
Dude, you just basically explained what college was like for me. So good.
So there was a point. This is not one of my prouder moments. There was a point.
If it has anything to do with this movie, then yes, I'm sure.
No, it's not. But talking about, like, just letting a fucking DVD menu just play. When I was in college, I would get home at, like, maybe 9 o'clock at night, and I wouldn't go to bed until like 2 or 3 in the morning because my first classes weren't until like noon. And usually I would just put on one movie, and it was usually one of the following 3 movies. I would just put on one movie, watch it, and then the menu would just loop for a while, and eventually the movie would start again, or I would get tired of hearing the same musical loop for too long and hit play. But those movies were Garden State.
No surprise there.
Sleepaway Camp.
No surprise there either.
And Care Bears 2: The New Generation.
All right, we're gonna need some explanation on that one. I mean, you just explained your dry streak, but
it was so that's like one of my favorite as a kid growing up movies. Like, I always loved that movie, and I hadn't seen it for years. And my friend had remembered hearing me talk about it, so for my birthday that year, she had tracked down a copy of it on DVD and bought it for me. And I was like, all right, and I put it on. And basically the biggest appeal was just there was like one song at the end at the closing credits that I kind of was into, which is so I can't justify that sentence at all. But if you've seen Care Bears 2, The Next Generation, you know exactly what song I'm talking about, and it's fucking saddish. It's like the saddest song. But I was really into that song for whatever reason, and the movie was only like 45 minutes long, so it was kind of one of those like when you go downstairs and you don't intend to be down there too long, you're like, you know what, I'm only going to be down there for an hour. Let me just pop in the Care Bears because that's only like 45 minutes to an hour. And then you're down there.
This thought process?
I do. But then you still end up down there chatting on AIM because this was 2004, chatting up on AIM for hours with random people that you just finished hanging out with. So there's like nothing to really talk about, but you're just like, hey, check out this link I found. You're like, did you read so-and-so's live journal? What a bitch. Like, or whatever. Like, anyway, what'd you guys watch this week?
Oh, I talked about it. I mentioned it earlier. I will expound upon it now. I watched 2 movies, and one of them was not bad. I mean, it was okay. It was serviceable. And that was on Netflix. It was called Infinity. And it was basically Event Horizon meets Alien meets Ghosts of Mars. But it was like, I think it was a New Zealand flick. I mean, it had solid production value and it wasn't terrible, but I could see the twists coming from like a light year away. You see what I did there?
I like it.
Yeah. And you know, I felt pretty let down by the end. It was a real like adult contemporary end, if you will. It was not really worth watching the whole thing. I would probably, if I could go back in time, I would drive through it and I would just watch the first 20 minutes. But I also fast forwarded my way through what I thought would be a much worse film, which turned out to be less terrible than Drive Thru, and it's just some no-name slasher flick from the 80s, I think 88. It's called Fatal Pulse, and it's on YouTube, and it was just bad, and the acting was bad, but at least it felt like they weren't trying to be meta, and they weren't trying to make jokes. They were trying to be serious, and so the humor came from them being so poorly acting, like everything being so poorly acted, and them like just giving it their all. And there was a good amount of nudity in that film for being on YouTube. So pretty much everything that was missing or I hated about Drive Thru was less awful in Fatal Pulse. So that was my week. A lot of really bad movies.
I watched the newest episode of Preacher. That show still is not doing jack shit. It really has dug its heels in and just refuses to fucking do anything. I don't know what they're waiting for. They're gonna lose their audience if they don't hurry the fuck up and start doing something. Because if I wasn't already like somebody that had read the comics, this would hold no fucking appeal to me at all. So
basically me.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Other than that, I didn't really watch a whole lot. Now, I'm going to... I think you guys both agreed that you refused to do it, so I'm going to watch the new Ghostbusters movie at some point between now and when we next record. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it for the sake of being able to review it on this show. So I'll have that for you the next time.
Let's hope that there's ghost sex to redeem it.
I certainly hope so. I feel like that movie would almost get rid of my ghost sex fetish that I have right now.
Because of all the people being so unattractive in it?
Yeah, exactly. It might turn me off of ghost sex forever.
Let's not be hasty.
Yeah. But I mean, I haven't watched a whole lot this week. I had one more note for Drive Thru, and it was just a list of movies that I could think of that this movie had stolen straight out of.
You should tell us what those are.
All right, so I have The Burning. I have Nightmare on Elm Street. I have Stephen King's It. Steal some of that. Happy Birthday to Me.
There was
Right. Scream. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Just like a shitload of ghost movies with its like Ouija board and it's a supernatural ghost killer and all that shit. While we were talking, obviously Josie and the Pussycats is another one that stole stuff from. What else did we have? We thought of more.
Idle Hands.
Idle Hands.
That's a big one.
Idle Hands. And then
Strangeland.
Strangeland. Yeah. And then it's just straight up lifting a lot of stuff out of Juggalo culture too. Like, not even kidding. Like the faux gangster like wigger guys and the clown makeup and all this dumb shit. Like it feels like it was pretty heavily influenced by Juggalo shit. But yeah, I don't suggest Drive Thru. Thanks anyways, Martin.
So for the blog, I recently rewatched not one but two painfully short-lived animated series that I just wanted to bring up because I feel like if any of our listeners have never checked out either one of these, they absolutely should. And those two shows are the Clerks animated series and Clone High USA. The Clerks animated series, I know we rag on Kevin Smith a whole bunch because, essentially his last, 3 movies have been complete and utter garbage. But the Clerks animated series actually reminds me that there was a time where he could do really insanely weird, irreverent humor super well. And nobody watched that cartoon. I think it lasted exactly 2 episodes on television. And
now there are 5 episodes released on DVD though, right?
6 total. There were 6 episodes made, but it's really weird because the way that they aired it, it was one of those classic we're not going to air these in the order that they were made for whatever reason. So the first episode that aired was episode 4, which is fine, that's whatever, because most of them didn't have any context. But then the second episode that they aired was episode 2. And if you've ever seen episode 2 of the Clerks animated series, it's a flashback episode that just keeps flashing back to episode 1, which hadn't even aired yet. So, the entire point of that episode's joke is just done. It's immediately over.
I always did think that them doing a clip show episode for their second episode was funny, but knowing just how badly they murdered the execution of it makes it so much better too.
The second, and those are the 2 best episodes. Episode 2 and 4 are both fucking amazing episodes. Episode 2 is the clip show, which is hysterical to do the second episode of a show as a clip show. And then episode 3 is the one that's them getting sued. It's the court episode, which is also really, really fucking funny.
Who driving? Bear driving.
Yeah. The episode that ends with them running out of money and the Japanese animators taking over for them. And it just turns into an anime where they jump into a car that turns into a robot and breaks all of the Japanese animators out of their slave pit where they're chained to pads and paper. It's so crazy. And then Clone High is one of the most intentionally lighthearted but dark shows I've ever seen. I think Scott told us before he's never seen it, but I know it was pretty popular in Canada, right?
Oh, hell yeah, man. Fucking way back in the 1980s.
Yeah. It's so good. Scott, I know you don't watch a lot. You're not really the adult who likes cartoon type stuff. This is
what are you talking about? I watch superhero cartoons,
That's
bro.
True. This is one of the best meldings of 2 different, senses of humor I've ever seen. Because it's produced and essentially starring everybody that's involved with Scrubs. Bill Lawrence produced it. All of the voice acting are people who are regulars on Scrubs. And then the creators and the main writers are the guys who did the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs movies and the 21 Jump Street movies and the Lego movie. So it's their sense of humor mixed with the Scrubs sense of humor. And it's just so good. And it's so it's that sense of humor of you have to just shut off your brain, sit down, and enjoy the insanity of this show. Because the show makes no sense, and it knows it makes no sense. It's about a secret government agency that hires a mad scientist to clone all of the world leaders, or all the greatest leaders in history, but they all age at a normal rate. So they have to build a special town and a special high school to put all of these teenage clones of Abe Lincoln and JFK and Marilyn Monroe and Gandhi and Joan of Arc and all of them like living together.
Well, I disagree with one thing, and you said that you should shut your brain off when you watch it, and I disagree because it's such a smart fucking show. Like, it's got a lot of smarts. Like, there's an episode where they have like a film contest, like a film whatever, and Joan of Arc makes this like weird artsy black and white film that doesn't have any connection to anything. It's just very avant-garde. And then when the film ends, it shows the audience, and in the background, somebody's just like, ha ha, Joan loves Abe. And she's like, God damn it, Sigmund Freud. 'Cause he's like,
or my favorite joke, which has nothing to do with history, is that the mad scientist has a robot butler that follows him around named Mr. Butlertron. And there's an episode where the evil agency is coming over his house for dinner, and the butler helps him set up everything. And then right as they show up, he's like, all right, now you've got to get in the kitchen where you belong because I don't want you ruining everything for me. And the robot looks all sad, and it slowly starts to wheel to the kitchen. And he's talking to himself in his robot voice. He just goes, don't let him see you cry. Get to the kitchen. And then like the kitchen door closes, and it's quiet for a couple seconds, and then you just hear...
Well, it's got all those tropes. It's got the episode where there's like a prom, and it's got an episode where they talk about drugs, and it's got an episode where a character dies and they have to deal with the death of a character. But this 22-minute cartoon that only ran one season does it so much better than any other actual like family sitcom has ever fucking done it, and like so much more poignantly.
Oh, and I also like that every episode starts off with, on a very special episode. It is just a giant satire of teen drama shows, but just done so fucking well. And it makes me so mad that, like, it's one of those shows that I want to reference all the time, but there's not enough people who have seen it to get any of the references. But yeah, I mean, if you like the Lego Movie or the Jump Street movies and you like Scrubs, it is like the perfect 13 episodes of television. And I don't know where we're going to cut off, but that was Drive Thru from 2007. Thank you guys for checking out another episode of Horror Movie Night. You can always send us suggestions at hmnpodcast@gmail.com. You can leave us voicemails, but I don't remember the phone number, so I'll just leave it at that for now. We are... You may have had a little bit... We took a little bit of a break between the last episode and this episode with a retroactive episode because I was running around San Diego Comic-Con. We're actually recording this before San Diego Comic-Con, but I'm going to pretend that I had a really great time. I most likely did, but let's just assume that all my assumptions that things went well did in fact go well. So thank you for listening. We've got a ton of great episodes coming up in the very near future. Not next week, as far as I know, from Scott's upset feelings of Adam's pick, but I bought Adam's pick on Blu-ray, so I'm going to be watching that soon.
I found it in 2 parts on Vimeo, so I'm not paying any money to watch it.
So thank you again for checking us out. Hit us up at hmnpodcast@gmail.com.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.